We come to that time in our service when we would gather around the Lord's table, where Christ is given the invitation that all might come if they would be his brothers and sisters, if we can acknowledge ourselves to be sons and daughters of the Most High, then we are a part of his family and we are invited to his table. And as Christians, as people who already carry that family name, we turn and extend that invitation to others, whether they're near or far, whether it's sending a link through email or text or Facebook, or it's just inviting someone to consider on their own what it means to be one of God's beloved. For that is what Jesus came to tell us we are, and to show us by his death what a price he would pay in order to prove the truth of that statement, that amazing statement, that we are beloved of God and that there is a plan and place for us, both now and forever. It's what the table means. And so you can look around, see what you have, if you're ready or not, or if you need to step out and look. I've got, of course, what Jesus had in Jerusalem in the upper room, Welch's grape juice. And I'm not quite sure how his pita was prepared or formed, but some kind of bread. And we come with the loaf and the cup and a commandment. Do this in remembrance of me. But I have to do this communion with a bit of an extra story, because as you all know, 6 weeks ago, I lost my father, and then within a few days, after attending some business here, I went down to Texas, and we took care of Mom, and she's back up in Indiana at my sister's, but we had a week to do kind of some distancing open house and to not only care for Mom and Dad's friends who mourn his passing as well, but also to put that retirement home, that trailer and that retirement community to rights and ready to sell and pass along. So we had a lot of stuff to clean out, a lot of stuff to prepare. And my sister did the yeoman's effort. But in the end, we put my sister and my mother on an airplane. And then I went back to the trailer for one more day or so to load up a van and to head home. I had never been there before, but I certainly got to know it well in 9 or 10 days. And that last day, as we were packing up the last of what needed to go in the van and go home, I got down to the last task that I'll admit I was putting off. And I often tell people in a similar situation, put it off as long as you need to, but I couldn't. And it was Dad's clothes. I had been wearing some of it, but most of it obviously didn't fit. I'm a bit taller than Dad. And there were some things that we kept, few items I brought home, but most of it, well, my sister and I decided most of it should go to a place called Christian Haven, which serves an orphanage across the Rio Grande, just a few miles away in Reynosa, Mexico. And there was a place there in far Texas that we could drop stuff off. And we decided some of the last bags of clothing and other items would go to Christian Haven and we'd pass it along. But I put it off, struggled with a couple of items, decided, no, there's only so much sentimental value. And I kept a couple of shirts, and then I'm packing it up, and I get to the back of the closet and I get to his jacket. And it was the last jacket Dad wore for the last couple of times he helped to lead worship Christmas Sunday and the last Sunday of 2019. My sister was down there, got a picture of him up at the table. But he was a part of that service, and he wore his blue jacket, and he probably hadn't worn it since December 29th. And I'm shoving my dad's clothing, for the most part, into black plastic garbage bags. And some of you know what that feels like and what that experience is. And I get to the very last item, which is that blue jacket. And I take it off the hanger, and I check the pockets, because that's what you do. You don't want to leave trash, or there might be a check or just a receipt, something. And I'm going through, and there's nothing in the front pockets and the inside pockets. And I'm thinking, it's not like you're going to find something remarkable or amazing or meaningful. And I check the left front pocket, and the last is the right front pocket. And I put my hand in, And there's one little thing in the corner, and I pull it out, and it's a communion wafer. They used pre-made. They didn't have Marcia Kohler down there, but they had Kavanaugh communion wafers, a little round disc with a cross inscribed of it, made of wheat flour. I've seen them many places. In all of Dad's pockets, there was just that one wafer. And I took it, and I looked at it, and I said, "This is my body broken for you." And I ate it. And then Dad's coffee mug was sitting there, and I'm doing this across the back of the easy chair in which my dad died and that I'd been sitting in the last week and a half. And I've been using his coffee cup, and I looked, and there was a bit of coffee at the bottom of it, and I picked it up, and I said, "This is my blood shed for you." And that was my communion in FAR. And I share that story and that little tap on the shoulder with you. So I take this same mug, but not coffee this time, grape juice. And I take this loaf. Not miraculously provided, and yet, isn't it always a miracle that Jesus has come to say, join me at the table, be a part of my family, and you and I will be ours forever. So he took the bread and broke it and gave it to them, saying, take, eat. This is my body, which is given for you. Eat of it, all of you, in remembrance of me. And in the same manner, Jesus took the cup and he blessed it, saying, this is the cup of the new covenant in my blood, shed for you and for many for the forgiveness of sin. As often as you drink of this cup, do so in remembrance of me. And then they went from that place singing a hymn, and we can sing along as we hear our music to close.